Hi friends. Welcome to Content Factory. Today I am talking about beauty of forest. A forest may be defined as a biological community dominated by trees and other woody vegetation. A forest is a complex ecological system in which trees are the dominant life form. A forest is nature's most efficient ecosystem, with a high rate of photosynthesis affecting both plant and animal systems in a series of complex organic relationships. They purify the air we breathe, filter the water we drink, prevent erosion, and act as an important buffer against climate change. Forests offer a home to much of the world's diverse array of plants and animals and provide essential natural resources from timber and food to medicinal plants. Forests are at least 120 years old, and the oldest trees can live for 300 to 400 years. While tree diameters are often 10 to 15 inches. Trees can grow to diameters of 20 inches in the north and 26 inches in the south. A forest is an area of land dominated by trees. Hundreds of definitions of forest are used throughout the world, incorporating factors such as tree density, tree height, land use, legal standing, and ecological function. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, defines a forest as land spanning more than 0.5 hectares with trees higher than 5 meters and a canopy cover of more than 10%, or trees able to reach these thresholds in situ. It does not include land that is predominantly under agricultural or urban use. 5. Using this definition, Global Forest Resources Assessment 2020 found that forests covered 4.06 billion hectares, 10.0 billion acres, 40.6 million square kilometers, 15.7 million square miles, or approximately 31% of the world's land area in 2020. The undisputed number one is probably the most famous forest on Earth, the South American Amazon. The forest of all forests. With its fabulous 5,500,000 square kilometers, not only has the largest area, but is also home to 1 in 10 species existing on Earth. Scientists have discovered the world's oldest forest in an abandoned quarry near Cairo, New York. The 385-million-year-old rocks contain the fossilized woody roots of dozens of ancient trees. Almost half the forest area, 49%, is relatively intact, while 9% is found in fragments with little or no connectivity. Tropical rainforests and boreal coniferous forests are the least fragmented, whereas subtropical dry forests and temperate oceanic forests are among the most fragmented. Roughly 80% of the world's forest area is found in patches larger than 1 million hectares, 2.5 million acres. The remaining 20% is located in more than 34 million patches around the world, the vast majority less than 1,000 hectares, 2,500 acres, in size. Human society and forests influence each other in both positive and negative ways. Forests provide ecosystem services to humans and serve as tourist attractions. Forests can also affect people's health. Human activities, including unsustainable use of forest resources, can negatively affect forest ecosystems. Although the word forest is commonly used, there is no universally recognized precise definition, with more than 800 definitions of forest used around the world. Although a forest is usually defined by the presence of trees, under many definitions an area completely lacking trees may still be considered a forest if it grew trees in the past, will grow trees in the future, or was legally designated as a forest regardless of vegetation type. There are 3 broad categories of definitions of forest in use: administrative, land use, and land cover. Administrative definitions are based primarily upon the legal designations of land, and commonly bear little relationship to its vegetation. Land that is legally designated as a forest is defined as such. even if no trees are growing on it. Land use definitions are based on the primary purpose that the land serves. For example, a forest may be defined as any land that is used primarily for production of timber. Under such a land use definition, cleared roads or infrastructure within an area used for forestry, or areas that have been cleared by harvesting, disease, or fire, are still considered forests, even if they contain no trees. Land cover definitions define forests based upon the type and density of vegetation growing on the land. Such definitions typically define a forest as an area growing trees above some threshold. These thresholds are typically the number of trees per area, density, the area of ground under the tree canopy, canopy cover, or the section of land that is occupied by the cross-section of tree trunks, basal area. Under such land cover definitions, an area of land can only be known as forest if it is growing trees. Areas that fail to meet the land cover definition may be still included while immature trees are present that are expected to meet the definition at maturity. Forests are classified differently and to different degrees of specificity. One such classification is in terms of the biomes in which they exist, combined with leaf longevity of the dominant species, whether they are evergreen or deciduous. Another distinction is whether the forests are composed predominantly of broadleaf trees, coniferous, needle-leaved, trees, or mixed. Animals that live in forests have highly developed hearing, and many are adapted for vertical movement through the environment. Because food other than ground plants is scarce, many ground-dwelling animals use forests only for shelter. In temperate forests, birds distribute plant seeds and insects aid in pollination, along with the wind. In tropical forests, fruit bats and birds effect pollination and seed dispersal. The forest is one of nature's most efficient ecosystems, with a high rate of photosynthesis affecting both plant and animal systems in a series of complex organic relationships. In the humid climates of the equatorial belt are tropical rainforests, which support incredible plant and animal biodiversity. Their heavy rainfall supports evergreens that have broad leaves instead of needle leaves, as in cooler forests. Monsoon forests, which are the deciduous forests of tropical areas, are found in regions with a long dry season followed by an intense rainy season. In the lower latitudes of the southern hemisphere, the temperate deciduous forest reappears. Forest types are distinguished from each other according to species composition, which develops in part according to the age of the forest, the density of tree cover, type of soils found there, and the geologic history of the forest region. Forest plantations are generally intended for the production of timber and pulpwood. Commonly monospecific, planted with even spacing between the trees, and intensively managed, these forests are generally important as habitat for native biodiversity. Some are managed in ways that enhance their biodiversity protection functions and can provide ecosystem services such as nutrient capital maintenance, watershed and soil structure protection and carbon storage. Forest plantations are generally intended for the production of timber and pulpwood. Commonly monospecific, planted with even spacing between the trees, and intensively managed, these forests are generally important as habitat for native biodiversity. Some are managed in ways that enhance their biodiversity protection functions and can provide ecosystem services such as nutrient capital maintenance, watershed and soil structure protection and carbon storage. Humans have generally decreased the amount of forest worldwide. Anthropogenic factors that can affect forests include logging, urban sprawl, human-caused forest fires, acid rain, invasive species, and the slash and burn practices of swidden agriculture or shifting cultivation. The loss and regrowth of forests lead to a distinction between two broad types of forest: primary or old-growth forest and secondary forest. There are also many natural factors that can cause changes in forests over time, including forest fires, insects, diseases, weather, competition between species, etc. In 1997, the World Resources Institute recorded that only 20% of the world's original forests remained in large intact tracts of undisturbed forest. More than 75% of these intact forests lie in 3 countries: the boreal forests of Russia and Canada, and the rainforest of Brazil. Subscribe this channel to get more informative video.